there, everybody. This is Ken Barton, CEO of Kupid, and I'm with the lovely Cara Bell. I always do it the wrong way. You're on this side of my computer.
Am I?
Hey, Cara, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling wonderful. I had a great evening. I just want to share with everyone. Ken took me for a one-on-one crash course of Vietnamese food last night.
Are you still full?
I'm still full. I'm feeling a little more refreshed. But thank you for the experience. I love to eat different foods, and I'd only had pho. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
You are. Pho, you got it.
Okay.
Cara, how many dishes did we order?
1, 2, 3. Oh, Ken was hungry last night.
It was like 7. It was so ridiculous.
There was a lot of food on the table. And so I got to sample a little bit of some very traditional Vietnamese food, left feeling very full, happy, and just I had an amazing time with Ken last night.
It was fun. It was a good time. Well, it's also, Cara, you've done so much for Kupid, like this training is so important. We get on all of our different onboarding calls, we have constantly people saying it's so great to hear from the company, but also hear from professional matchmakers. So we're actually trying something new today, guys. So we're going to do a little bit of training that actually involves some visuals. So Cara, do you want to go ahead? Actually, I need to start this first. Sorry. So we'll go ahead and get started, and then we have a jam-packed session today because we're going to do a 50-50 training. So first things first, if this is your first time seeing Kupid, we know a lot of folks come to us from YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatnot. What is Kupid? Kupid is dating done for you. We're a matchmaking platform where matchmakers can start from scratch if you've never been a matchmaker before, or you can bring over your matchmaking practice to Kupid. On Kupid, clients hire matchmakers to search, screen, and select matches for them. And if you want to become a matchmaker or join our community, just go to Kupid.io. And like I always say, every time we go on training, we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So please make sure you give us live comments. We feature them all the time. We answer your questions, and we get a lot of work done while we're here. And that's why we do it live. So without any further ado, Cara, I would love for you to tell us some more about love languages.
I wanted to touch on love languages today, Ken. I think the last session we talked about just kind of an outline of questions that I thought are beneficial for a matchmaker to ask their client to get a real good sense of who they are. Love languages is something that is very important. You're going to hear a lot about love languages as you're going through the process of being a matchmaker. It was something that I'm going to own it. I was very unfamiliar with love languages when I first started out as a matchmaker. And, clients would just basically share with me without me asking, what is your love language? They would share with me, hey, my love language is. And I found myself saying, oh, I kind of think I have an idea of what that is, but I really need to educate myself so that I can better understand my clients and what these love languages are and why they're so important. I feel like that they're kind of fundamental. They go in hand with the relationship, just learning how your partner wants to feel in a relationship, how they want to feel loved in a relationship. So let's go through the 5 top love languages that you're going to hear as a matchmaker. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, which is pretty self-explanatory, quality time, also kind of self-explanatory, but I want to touch on that because I see a lot of not quality time on dates. Gift giving, acts of service, and of course, last but not least, your physical touch. So let's kind of get into the love languages, what they mean, how you can better utilize this as a matchmaker to better understand what moves your client, how they want to feel loved in a relationship. So your words of affirmation are just that, words of affirmation. Someone that says, hey, Ken, my love language is first and foremost are words of affirmation. That is somebody that really values being told that they're appreciated, that they're loved. Hey, you look beautiful today. Words of affirmation can not only just be love and affection, but it could be encouragement. It could be support of your partner. Hey, honey, I know you've been working really hard on this project, and I love how you just really take charge of your professional life. That's affirmation.
Right.
I just got
Right.
goosebumps saying that because I want someone to say that to me.
I'm the same, Kara. I'm a total words of affirmation person. Kara, I
Mm.
have a great example of this. You know, I was also naive to this too about words of affirmation. And I remember a time in which like I had a boyfriend in Chicago who was very like bad at communicating and just did
Right,
not he would get mad at me when I would like ask him to verbalize. This is before I knew about what this was. And I remember
right.
the one time we were at dinner with his friends and like I don't really know these people were talking and he comes, he slides up in the booth next to me and he tucks his head behind my neck, like leans in and just whispers, "You look so handsome tonight." Game
Ooh,
over. Chills down my
bam,
spine. Like it doesn't.
right?
I don't need you to like touch me. I don't need a gift. I don't
Oof,
need any of that. I those words. Mwah, words of
let's
affirmation.
go. Exactly. So it also can be just some text messages. Maybe you
Yeah.
text your mate and just say, "Hey, I'm thinking of you," or "I had an amazing time last night," or "Looking forward to seeing you." Um, so it could be a love note, it could be a text, it could be just a phone call on a lunch break to say, "I'm thinking about you." So words of affirmation,
Yeah.
pretty pretty self-explanatory. Oops, I meant to throw that over the computer. Try that again.
Sarah's doing magic tricks. Okay,
Who
keep
used to do that?
going.
Johnny Carson? Okay. The second is quality time. Oh my goodness. Quality time. These people want to know that you are in the moment with them. Put your cell phone aside, turn off the TV. It's for quality time, it's quality over quantity. It's the fact that you are spending that time with them, you're giving them your undivided attention.
Right.
It's about focusing on your partner,
Mm.
listening to them, hearing them, really just being engaged in the moment.
Mm.
One of the things I do when I go out to eat, I see people coupled up, but have you ever noticed that people don't talk, couples don't have discussions over dinner anymore?
Because they're always like this. Phone in their face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Phone's right in your face.
okay.
Yes, honey.
hmm
Sure. Anything
So
you want. Yeah.
how loved do you feel by, what's more important, that text message that you're getting or really showing that your partner, that you're really tuned in, you're listening? Once again, it's about how you want to make your partner feel and how your partner wants to feel.
Right.
So quality time, I think, is really important. And that could be with your kids too and your family, not just with your mate, but quality time.
With anyone. Right.
Yeah,
No, Carrie, you said something about quantity, but like when I think of quality time, I think about people like my dad. Like he wants to just do anything with you. What's so funny is he doesn't care what you're doing.
right.
Grocery store, whatever, like just wants to drive with you, just wants to go with you. Like it is quality, but it's also quantity. It's just time spent together has been my
Oh,
experience. And as you hear me say this, like obviously I'm not in a relationship with my father, like, but you understand when you get people's love languages, you understand how to make them happy. And even
exactly.
at work, I think this is applicable because there are
Yes.
some people who want to be communicated with, want words of affirmation, some people who do not, some people who love a gift, you know?
Right, right. Gift giving and
Yeah.
or receiving gifts. So for these people that really, acts of their acts of service is gift giving, they really like the fact that somebody took the time and the effort and they were
Right.
thoughtful enough to choose something for them. Doesn't
Yep.
have to be elaborate. It's all about the thought that this person took the time and thought about me. So they went to get me a gift. It comes with thoughtfulness.
Yep. So we talking about sugar babies, Kara? Is that what we're looking for? Like these are all like people who just want you to like pour gifts on them?
Could be, some people it could be cars, and it doesn't have to be expensive gifts. But
Yeah.
some people, yeah, they're looking for the bigger toys. So when you go to some of these what is it, sugar daddies, sugar
Sugar
babies,
babies, sugar daddies, yeah. Yeah.
and they post they must have an allowance and what the allowance is.
Yep.
So I don't know if these are necessarily their love languages or their hustles, but
Hey, whatever you need.
whatever you need. So
Yeah.
it's really just about thoughtfulness.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
is it always physical gifts, Kara, or is it other things? Because I'm thinking like when I think of a gift, I think of like a little red box with a bow on it, but it might be like experiences. It might be like
Ooh.
something special that you like a thing that maybe manifests that you weren't expecting. Like you get something I used to do all the time for one of my boyfriends was that I would, when he'd have a bad day at work, I would get him delivery food at his work, and he worked in a cafe. And so it always surprised him. And of course, it was quite dramatic because everyone else saw it, and they're like, "Who sent you food?" And then he like is like, "Oh,
I
it
like
was
that.
strategic." Hey,
I really like that.
you
You're
gotta be
really
smart.
thinking outside the box. And I guess you could get as creative as you would like to with
Right.
this. I kind of like when I say gift giving, my mind is I'm a baker, so I like to bake. I like to show my love through food and
Yeah, me
cooking
too.
for someone, as you do, or
Yeah.
baking for someone. And then I'm looking at you because I'm ready for the words of affirmation, like, "Ooh, this is really good," right? If I don't get that, I'll keep saying, is the taste okay or is it all right? Like I'm searching for something like either this is horrible or oh, this is really good. Um, so they
That's
can
funny,
go
Kara.
hand in hand. Your gift
Yeah.
giving, you can get words of affirmation back from.
Yeah, Kara, let me ask you, while we're on gift giving, these
Sure.
languages are not exclusive, right? You don't have one or the other, but I
You have
think like
several.
it's like a spectrum, right? Like you have more of one and less of another kind of thing.
Exactly. My
Yeah.
love languages are words of affirmation and acts of service.
Okay. Got it. Well,
Mhm.
that's good that the next one is acts of service.
Acts of service, this is my
Mm-hmm.
love language. And acts of service are just the small things. It
Mm.
says to me that somebody is thinking about me, that they're tuned into me. So, an act of service is the feeling of love and appreciation.
Mm.
So, it's so blanket that the acts of service could be also the gift giving could go into the acts of service.
Hmm.
Your words of affirmation could follow under acts of service if you're doing it on a regular basis. Like, hey, I love you. Or did I tell you you smell amazing? Acts of service. So once again, acts of service is feeling of love and appreciation. It could be my mate knows that I love to have my coffee with a little bit of creamer and a little bit of
Yeah.
Splenda every morning.
Huh.
And when I
Perfect.
wake up in the morning and I step out of the shower, that nice cup of coffee is already there waiting on me. Oh my gosh, be so my heart. I would
Right.
much rather have that than somebody wrap a big red bow around a car and say, "Hey, babes, I gave you here's a Porsche." Don't get me wrong, I'll take the Porsche, but it's just those moments that somebody really they're thinking about me. They're
Yeah.
putting them me before their own needs by acts of
Right.
service.
Kara,
Um,
when I think about this, I'm always thinking about like the things that like no one wants to do, but you do it for your partner because they're your partner because you care about them. So like Kara, cleaning the kitchen, right? Does anyone really want to clean the kitchen or take out the garbage, or wash the dog or things like that? Like it's not, unless you're OCD, it's not like an obsessive thing that you love doing. But the difference is,
that's right.
your partner loves to come home to a clean kitchen. You want to have a great night and like or for me it's cooking, but like I always cook no matter what, so it's not even like a thought. Some
Right.
people don't cook. I know there's actually a lot of people, so
Yeah.
like me cooking for them is an act of service, but I can that's the way I interpret it. From acts of service or things that maybe you just did something that was totally out of your way, entirely intentional, because your partner likes it, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it's a
Exactly.
gift, just doing something they're gonna like.
That's right. Your mate takes your car in the morning to go get the oil change or the car
uh,
wash for you because they know that you don't like to do those things.
I have no idea how. Great, perfect.
You
I don't know.
know,
I don't
uh,
know shit about cars, Kara.
maybe it could be like, you're married and the lady doesn't get free time to spend with her girls. And maybe the guy arranges for her to have lunch with her girlfriends.
Uh, now that's really next level stuff. That's
That's
some
very sweet,
smart.
isn't it? Or,
Yeah, that's
you
really
know,
good. I mean, that's a surprising act of service.
exactly. Here's a gift certificate or hand me your credit card. Why don't you go take a day at the spa and relax? Have a glass
Yeah,
of wine, get a
boom.
pedicure.
Yeah, he's trying to get some extra points there. All
You
right, so
think
that's act of
so?
service. Okay. And what's this last one? Physical? I have no idea what this is.
Physical touch.
Uh huh.
Did you say you don't know what physical touch is, Ken?
I was trying to be funny.
So physical touch, what I want matchmakers to really realize is that doesn't necessarily mean sex.
Mm,
It's important for you to realize that physical touch could be completely different than sex. Of course, it leads into sex, but physical touch is when you go by your mate and maybe you just brush their cheek. Maybe it's a kiss on the forehead. These people love to cuddle. They love to hold hands. They love close connections with their partner. And once again, it doesn't necessarily mean sex. It means just sitting. You could be still, shoulder to shoulder, and just that connection, the love that you can feel from that person by just sitting next to someone. It could be a massage, right? Could be physical touch. I had a boyfriend that used to kiss me on the forehead. Woo! I don't know if you've ever been kissed on the forehead, but he was the first guy to kiss me on the forehead. Ken, that was like, I felt so
special.
loved. Yes. Because a kiss on the lips you expect, maybe a kiss on the cheek or the neck you expect, but the forehead just felt for me like, you're precious. I appreciate you. You're sweet.
Isn't it interesting how, I think this also speaks to age, because when you're younger, you are hot to trot. I mean, call out Bella Claire. Like, where are you at, Bella? Like, you're hot to trot, ready to go, right?
Yes, she is.
The difference is once you start surpassing you've probably experienced most of what you wanted to experience. You've gotten exploratory through your 20s. And once you achieve about 30, at least in my experience, I've seen a lot of my friends, my age group, whether male or female or otherwise, your mind shifts so far away from sex, because sex is now a commodity. Like, you're going to have sex with someone that's an inherent thing, that's a part of a relationship, unless you're asexual, but it's going to happen, right? And then it becomes like, is this an obligation? Am I supposed to do this? Are we not having sex enough? Like, that becomes all kinds of messy and dirty, and people aren't willing to talk about it enough. But what you just mentioned, Kara, is actually not sexual. The kiss in the forehead is completely just love. And that's what's, I think, so special. I always look at there's two things I want to say. One of my very good friends, she has really cold extremities, hands and feet, freezing. And it's just, women have different circulation than men, right? And maybe this is Mother Nature or whatever deity you want to believe in, creating this problem for us. So women tuck their feet under bed, or they grab them with their ice claws, right?
We do.
But that's physical touch. And it's a special thing there. But I don't know. I always am impressed when your partner makes an effort to make physical touch beyond just sexual. And that's where it's really special. Of course, the sexual stuff is great. We're organic beings. We got to love this, right? But I don't know. I almost say as you approach, you go past your 20s, the value of sex diminishes or kind of plateaus even.
I agree.
And now it goes to those things that are even more,
I agree. Because my love languages, even though I didn't know what love languages were, let's say 3-4 years ago, my love languages, as I've gotten older, have changed.
Of course.
If you ask me what my love language was in the 20s, what do you think it was going to be, Ken?
Physical touch and words of affirmation.
In my 20s?
Oh, gift giving? I don't know.
What can you give me? Where can you take me? How big, how fast, how shiny, how much? I dated a guy that was, oh my gosh, I hate to share this, but I'm going to share this. I was really, really shallow in my 20s.
Ooh.
I would not date anyone that did not make a certain amount of money.
How much, Kara? How much was it? Don't be discreet. Come on, tell us.
Okay, he owned several car dealerships. I think he owned 5 car dealerships at the time. So this was the first relationship that I had where a man could really dote on me, in terms of giving gifts, right? So he used to take me around the world with them. I would go to his little conferences with them, and he'd give me the credit card, like everybody's girl's dreams. Give me the credit card and say, go to the mall, get pampered, meet me back at the room. We're going to have a nice dinner tonight at 6:00. So I take his credit card, I go get glammed up, buy something that just looked fierce, got my heels on. But what I found was that he lacked the words of affirmation.
Of course.
He bought me everything, but he didn't make me feel special or loved
Yeah.
The gifts were just like material things.
Yeah, I get it, and
Yeah.
that's what you realize very quickly, because once you get it, you're like, and I think it all comes from like where you're from. Like I didn't grow up with money, so I was always looking for like freedom. And I remember one of my first like older boyfriends, so he's about a decade older than me. He could afford Ubers wherever he went, and in my brain, I was like, this is amazing. Because what that did is like you didn't have to take public transit, which is what I had to do because I didn't have any money for Ubers. And so
Right.
he's like, yeah, I Ubered 2 or 3 times a day. And I was like, my brain was exploding. So I was like, I could never afford that. But then that wasn't actually valuable in the relationship. And that's what's so funny is, as you get older and, matchmakers, like one of the things that you have to do as a matchmaker is really get to the bottom of what your client wants. They might tell you, oh, well, I need him to make $100,000 a year. And that's a great conversation for you to have with them, which is why? What do you want from that? Do you want them to own a house? Do you want to feel safe? Do you want to not feel strapped for cash? Because maybe they don't make $100,000 a year, but maybe they have a really well-functioning business and they make $50,000 a year, but they've got 10 employees and they can take 6 weeks off, 8 weeks off per year. Having understanding of what your client is meeting and not just saying, especially when it comes to love languages,
Exactly.
I think is significant.
I think it is crucial. And it's kind of made me do the work to kind of realize what my love language is.
Right.
I just really feel like that the more that you can get an insight, a psychological insight as to how that person wants to feel loved, the better chances that you have with that person.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And understanding, like I said, it's not just your match. It is your own partner. It is yourself at work, the way you enjoy work. Do you enjoy when your client, sends you a gift or vice versa? Like learning your client's love languages, learning your love languages. Although this concept sounds hokey, it's actually quite valuable. I've used it ever since I turned about 24, 25. So Kara, thank you so much. Like I find this to be really, really valuable. Is there anything else you want to put in with love languages?
Gosh, I think there are 7 love languages. I don't know what the other 2 are, but it seems
really?
like every year they add some different things. But I feel like that they tie into the principle. These are the top 5 love languages that you'll hear. So you don't have to, I don't know, venture off the path, but they're pretty self-explanatory. But I just really feel it's important for you to know. If you don't know, suggest that your client takes a love language
like one
test.
of those
They're
quizzes?
free. I think there's one, lovelanguages.com. And then as a matchmaker, you should know what your love languages are as well. So I encourage everybody to do that and encourage your clients to know their love languages.
Kara, I'm sorry. I just saw there are 7 and there's 5, but they're 2 different schools of thought. Okay. So there is a 7 version and this is the 5 version. So I just Googled it. So I'm sorry. I didn't like know.
That's okay. Good. So what are the other 2?
Well, the difference is, so the 7 says, so when we did the 5, right? But the 7 are activity, appreciation, emotional, financial, intellectual, physical, and practical, which they all have like reeling definitions. Yeah, it's a different. So, Kara, these are 2 different schools of thought, right? Like it's clearly like it's like a personality test. There's like this one and that one. Like take what you will, but maybe we can cover the other one next time. But yeah, I've never heard of this other one, the 7 version.
Yeah, I'm sure that they will change as the years go on. That it's going to change or it's going to be added to. But yeah, sorry that was so short and sweet.
No, it's not short. It's 25 minutes. We did good.
Was it? Okay, I was trying to add to it to like fluff it up.
You're totally fine. No, we're good. So matchmakers, today we're going to cut the lesson into 2 because Kara had the idea to do some love language training, but I want to go back to the business side now. So we've talked about interviewing your clients, and we had a whole conversation on Monday about like how to interview them, what the specifics were to get to. So I want to talk about the situation you're going to be in really soon when you get a client. How do you start doing the work to find matches for your client? Kara, you've worked at several different matchmaking companies, right? Would you agree that one of the most challenging pieces is your network of singles? Yeah. Super hard, right?
It is. It can be, especially if you don't know where you can go to find a match for your client. But I think just with some creativity, we have so many social media platforms now that there's no excuse for you not to be able to find a match. Just think about how many people you encountered yesterday and how many of those people were single.
Yeah. And, whenever you post on Facebook or you look at your Facebook friends, how many of your Facebook friends are single? But then the better conversation is 1 degree removed. So if you have, let's say, I don't know, I have 1,000 friends. I don't know if it's too many or too much, but whatever. I have 1,000. So if I have 1,000 friends on Facebook, how many friends do my friends have? Probably close to 10 or 100, something insane there, right? And so it wouldn't be appropriate to share your clients' like personal information, but you could say things like, hey, y'all, like I have a 34-year-old woman in this city who's looking to meet people of this kind of space and whatnot. Here's my link if you know anyone who's single. Whether it meets this qualification or not, please use my link to join Kupid, which will inherently help you generate more folks. The reason why is you never know when someone's going to see this. And it actually is your responsibility to help them. That's the whole point. The whole reason why they're hiring you is to get creative and get out there and get social. Although we're going to work really hard at Kupid of getting a biggest network as possible, it always comes back to you. You're the one being paid. You're the one, it is your job as a matchmaker. So I have a laundry list here, and I'm sure you guys have seen this. If you haven't, take a screenshot of it. But, I just want to kind of go over like strategies that I would use in some of these situations. And Kara, maybe I can introduce you to some new ones today. Kara, have you heard of this little company? It's a brand new little company. Have you heard of it?
Never heard of that.
No, it's called Meta now, but it's just like, it's like the Sears Tower. Like, when people change their name, like I'm not gonna take your new name. So Facebook, if you guys don't know, Facebook is the largest social media platform in the world. They bought Instagram, and we'll talk about Instagram in a moment, how it differs. But Facebook has literally billions of people. A majority of the world's human population is on Facebook. And that's quite unique because although Facebook has launched some different dating tools, it's not commonly used for dating. But what I think is more interesting than Facebook, of course, you need to be on here to see a lot of real humans, especially if your clients are in the age range of 35 to 65. Adults are on Facebook, believe it or not, because what's funny is they joined when they were really young, they left, but they came back when they needed to join something because no one really wants to start websites anymore. They start Facebook pages and Facebook groups. So that gets to the next piece. I can't tell you how many matchmakers that we've talked to exclusively run their matchmaking business via Facebook groups. So many people, whether they're clients or singles, like I always love to talk about like specific things like Kara, travelers, right? How many traveling Facebook groups are out there?
Thousands.
Thousands and thousands. And so posting saying, hey there, I'm a matchmaker. I have a client who loves to travel. If you're in the Cincinnati region or you're within, 100 miles, like, let me know, reach out to me, create a profile on Kupid. And I'd love to talk to you and see if you're going to be a good match. The matchmaker, it costs the matchmaker nothing. It's a simple post, right? All of these, everything I've discussed today is free. Let's be clear. It's just effort. When you're getting paid to do a job, you just have to exert the right effort. So what we've seen, it's actually quite funny. Bella, whenever she joined, Bella Claire is the Kupid podcast. She's the MC for that, and she's the one that actually founded that podcast. She has a new episode every Sunday. We feature them often. But, she was actually looking to like just explain to people what we're doing. Hey, like this is what Kupid is. It's what's going on. Bella got people coming to her when she was just looking for singles, asking to hire her. So inherently by doing this work, you are passively going to you're going to plant a seed in someone's mind that, hey, I might be a good match for that person, but also I would love it if a real human went out there and screened and selected people for me. That's delightful. So, Kara, have you had any experience in the Facebook groups and like working with your clients, like getting clients or singles to this platform?
I have. I've utilized Facebook groups. So, like, if I had a client that I knew, let's say this was last year. She was a real estate agent.
Perfect.
She, for some reason, wanted to be matched with somebody that was also in real estate. I didn't
Fair
really know
enough.
anybody in real estate. So what I did was I went on Facebook because the groups are specific. You'll find real estate
Perfect.
groups, right? So
Perfect.
I made a little post. Hey, I have a 32-year-old blonde single lady that's in the real estate business that's also looking to be matched with somebody that is in the real estate business, either a broker and you would be surprised at how many inboxes I got.
You probably got 100, Kara.
Hey, where is she? Where's she located? So, I think Facebook is, especially the groups, is a way for you to post if you're looking for a specific something, a
Sure.
musician. Let's say maybe you're looking for somebody that is Vietnamese. There's Vietnamese Facebook
There
groups.
sure are. There's huge communities of
There's
it for everything.
exactly
Religion, racial, like historical, like everything you could ever want
every
exists in some capacity. Now, it's not a guarantee. Like what we're going to talk about today with all these different social aspects, none of these are silver bullets. None of
right.
these will solve the problem every time guaranteed. As a matchmaker, you need to think about your toolbox. And the beauty of what Cupid is literally doing for you is you are never going to be limited to a physical space again. Trying to be a matchmaker out in the wild is hard because you have to do both sides of your market. You have to go find clients, right? And the client usually is going to have to be close to you because your network is always going to be better in your local proximity, almost always. But then you also have to go hunt those singles. And the very most efficient way to do it is always going to be to use socials in some capacity. And what I will say is like we at Cupid are so looking forward to the days when matchmakers recognize content is king. So even if, whatever channel you're on, I'm just telling you right now how to find matches for your clients. But if you commit to start creating content about, I'm a matchmaker, here's my ideas on relationships. What we're doing right now is content. It's training, but it's also content. We get 10 to 20 new people finding Cupid every day from this. And whether it's a TikTok or it's an Instagram, whatever it is that you want to do, if you're creating content, you're going to start harboring a brand and people are going to know you. So they're going to pay attention, That's the real, the ones that will be truly successful will be that. Hopefully you can't hear my, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say you can even create your own Facebook group as a matchmaker.
Right. Kara, I don't know. Can you hear my lawn guy outside? Hopefully not. No, I never know when they're coming. So it's just really funny they're here. I'm like, okay, great. Didn't know they were coming today. All right, let's talk about the next one. So Kara, who owns Instagram?
I don't know.
It's Facebook.
Is it? Oh, you just told me that. Okay.
I did. Facebook bought Instagram several years ago, and it was a really interesting story. So Instagram definitely has a different market. So every generation has their social media. I would say myself, at 32 years old, I'm kind of the end of the Facebook generation.
Right.
People younger than me don't care, but if you have a client in the age of like 35 maybe to like 25, that is probably your best possible range, honestly. Can you hear this, Kara? You can't hear this, right? This is so funny. There's right outside my window is like he has a massive blower. He's just blowing leaves off. So
sure, it's your blower, Ken. Anyway, yeah.
So Instagram is a really interesting platform because Instagram has done a couple things. It's really well known for like a square image, right? But now they've gotten much more into video and they're really trying hard to compete with TikTok. Of course, we'll talk about TikTok in a little bit, but actually I wonder, did I put it on my list? Look at that. I can't believe myself. Well, we're going to talk about it. Well, actually, I know, my brain, I was too busy on other things. So let's just talk about Instagram and TikTok side by side. So Instagram has copied a lot of features with Reels, but it's also very similar to TikTok, very similar like strategy. What's interesting about this, how could you meet people that are like a good match? Oddly enough, these don't have groups. TikTok doesn't have groups. It has hashtags.
Right.
So you could post a video and say something about like matchmaker, single, Baltimore, dating. Like these are things, if you're willing to make a quick video, and it doesn't have to have your face, you can make a video on TikTok that just has like a talking bunny, but it says, hey there, I've got a client, it's so simple now. Like none of this requires, we have some folks commenting in on Facebook, hey there, I have no idea who that is. So hello as well. So, that's one of the other strategies is using videos to post on something like Instagram or TikTok or comments. What's amazing is I've seen people kind of steal the attention of someone else's comments. And so what they'll do is go on to a video of like dating or something about, right, Kara? Like something
I do
comments,
that.
and you drop in, you say like, hey there, I'm a matchmaker. Like if you love dating, like follow me or whatever and do this, and boom, like it's amazing. Oh, hello, Sam. There we
Oh,
go.
Sam,
Sam,
Facebook
welcome.
user. Hi,
I
Sam.
know it's weird. YouTube pulls in their name. Sorry, Sam. Welcome to Kupid Trading, and you're welcome to like ask us any questions you have. All right, Kara. So this is probably one of my favorites because like
LinkedIn.
TikTok and Instagram is not like the best way to actually reach out to individuals. It's more a way to like garner an audience and attention. So LinkedIn, Kara, like what do you know about LinkedIn? Have you ever used it for matchmaking?
I have used it. What I know is that I think it's great for your really, really professional people. You're really, if you're looking for somebody that's in a specific industry, has a specific occupation, LinkedIn is brilliant. But what I've noticed is that LinkedIn is becoming a lot like Facebook now.
Yeah, it is.
It's not so much work related. I mean, I see a little bit, but I see that people are really kind of self-promoting and posting other things that are more social than business like on LinkedIn. So I think it's a great platform to utilize both. But if you are looking for somebody very specific, LinkedIn is brilliant.
But when you have that client that says, I need someone who makes six figures, it's almost impossible through every other social network that can do that, you know?
Right.
And if, you know, your client, or another great concept is like, you did great with Facebook groups, but you talked about your client who was in real estate. Well, where do you think all the real estate folks are? If you have a client who wants someone that's in business and does any aspect of networking, LinkedIn 100%. And what's interesting, Kara, is you're totally right. We are live on LinkedIn right now. So we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn simultaneously, which is amazing that you can even do that on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, Kara, have you ever used LinkedIn's like pro features before?
I have not. I would love to. That's something that I am definitely open to. I have not been the best with social media and kind of tying it into my brand. That's something I'm really working on because I'm not really a technical person. But maybe I can take Ken out and Ken will help me with those technical aspects. But that's something that, because I know the bulk of my business and the bulk of people that I really want to reach professionally as a matchmaker are going to come from LinkedIn.
Right. They're going to come from every social platform. I mean, whether it's your matches and your singles or whether it's your clients, it's always going to come from some aspect of social media. Now, Kara, I want to ask you about the next one. What do you know about this company?
I don't know very much. Is it where you can go and just kind of post like comments and thoughts about
anything?
Is that what it is? Okay.
Reddit. So Reddit is definitely going to be your community. This is for your technical people, technology folks.
Okay.
So Reddit is really well known for a couple things. It's called the front page of the internet. And the reason why is Reddit is new every single day. And so basically think about it as a really simple website. Remember Craigslist? Craigslist is really simple, right? You post on Craigslist, you have a link at the top, you have a quick page. Like, we've created these really fancy, beautiful websites. Reddit is all the way back. And what's nice is it's a simple functionality. What you're really doing is you can go in to find a conversation about anything. It kind of predates Facebook groups. And this is much more anonymous too. So you're willing to be much more honest and transparent. Whereas Facebook, okay, we got to be careful because you know that associates with your brand. So, and maybe you have like really nerdy things about you that you don't want to share about someone, or maybe you have fetishes you don't want to share. Maybe you have political views. You know, there's all kinds of things you'll find on Reddit. But the very interesting thing about Reddit is actually the upvoting system. So just a quick education, Kara. The idea is when you post something on a page, so let's say, you know, today is Reddit for single women in Baltimore, right? Baltimore. I just like Baltimore today. That's my city. I've actually never been, which is funny.
We should go.
Please give me some matchmakers in Baltimore. I'll hold an event there. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But the idea is you could say, hey there, my name is Kara. I am, you know, a matchmaker for Kupid. This is the client that I have. This is what their interests are. Please click this link and like sign up as a single. And I would love to interview you and just get to know what you think. They can upvote that. And so basically think of it like a page. And that little blurb can move to the top. And if you get the top of a blurb. And this could be what I would say is there's lots and lots of these dating ones, right? It's like a personals. But then you could do something like, for me, Kara, I love volleyball. You could absolutely be the odd situation in the community or in the chat where you post that and you say, hey, I'm a matchmaker. I have a guy who really loves volleyball. That's new and unique to them. They might upvote that and say, wow, this is so great. Like, what a cool way. Wow, I would love to have someone search for me. Like, this is I'm so happy that you do this. And so when we think about our social media marketing, we have to think kind of non-conventional, creative and non-conventional. How can we do it a little differently? How can we search whether, if our client doesn't care where the person lives, they're willing to hop on a plane, amazing. Let's focus on like what do they love? Do they love NASCAR? Is that their obsession? Amazing. Let's find someone in communities. It's not a guarantee they're going to be a great match, but this is something we can find online pretty easily. So we can start stacking our deck. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a start. If you have somebody that loves NASCAR, you go to a NASCAR group, then it's all about fishing, right? You're catching the next fish, trying to see if that's the right one. If not, you throw it back in and maybe you catch a couple and say, hey, here's a couple fish I've caught for you.
Well, the good news is, Kara, like even if you catch the wrong fish, you're building your network on Kupid.
Absolutely.
You get all kinds of victories inside of Kupid for inviting more people. You become an active matchmaker, but probably even more importantly, maybe they don't fit client A, but they might fit client B, or even better, if they just sign up with you directly. They're already in the app. They might try it. So, all of these actions are actually business building actions. So, Kara, have you ever heard of Clubhouse?
Never.
Ooh, interesting.
What is Clubhouse? Now I'm feeling
Kara, you would like Clubhouse. Okay. So Clubhouse was kind of born just before the pandemic, probably 2 or 3 years before the pandemic. Clubhouse is the very first audio social network, entirely audio based, and it's almost always live. So the idea is you can join a room, and I do these all the time. You can see comedians, you can actually see live performances of shows, you can just hang out and talk about something. You'll see celebrities come hang out and talk all the time, just live, just talking to their phone. The beauty is there's no video, which is kind of funny because we've been trained by TikTok and Facebook to think we need to look at something. But what is nice about a Clubhouse experience is you can have your curlers in. You don't got to look good. You don't got to do any of that, right? You can just sit back and relax and just listen, or participate, or not. It's just you want to be in a live conversation. So where this comes into value is finding groups again. Clubhouse is all about, I think they're called rooms in Clubhouse. And so, again, same idea. You're a real estate person, or you're this, or there's singles groups. There's lots of singles groups,
Does it give you a chance to like respond as well? Like you can hear people, but could I respond?
Absolutely. It's not like a huge noise room. So there's always a leader of the room. And so there's not like 70 people talking at once. That would be crazy, right? Like some of these rooms, Kara, will have like 100,000 people in them. So you can't have everyone talking at once. Usually it's like a small group of moderators they have control over, and then they'll welcome you to come join. So there's sometimes comments, there's raise your hand functions, and there is talking once. And so, a great conversation piece is, Kara, you go to a room that has 5,000 people in it, and it's singles, right? Or it's Jewish singles, and your client is a single. And you simply say, hey there, like, I just want to, they say, Kara, we see your hand is up. They tap you in the app and you get to talk. And now you get an audience and a voice to these 5,000 people. You say, hey there, like, this is not a self-promotion. I'm just doing my job. I'm a matchmaker. I possibly have a potential match for someone. They're Jewish, they're of this, they're of that. Even if it's not a good fit for this group, or even if none of you are interested in this person, please, refer me to someone. Here's my link. You can find me at, Kupid, search Carabelle. Very easy to like, and these are all people who are alive there right now. And you watch your app light up. You'll get 100 notifications of people joining just out of curiosity.
I was going to say, if that doesn't pique someone's interest, Ken, like, ooh, I'd be tempted to send a little message like, so what's this about? You're a matchmaker?
Absolutely. Yeah. And what might even happen is, Kara, all these things are free, don't forget. So maybe you host, I don't know, a weekly conversation on Clubhouse. Think about how easy it would be that you put on a schedule inside Clubhouse to host a weekly 30 minutes on dating advice. And you just hang out and you just talk. And now you build a room and a followership of several thousand people who want to get better at this. You're providing free content. You call them your little army and you say, hey guys, like, I have a client. This is my client. does anyone know someone they can refer me to? And now you have thousands and thousands of people helping you.
That
And
is
so,
awesome. And they could
and
be
what's
part of
nice,
the database. If they're
absolutely,
interested in having a matchmaker, they could be interested in being matched, which will eventually turn into them being your client. So
absolutely.
this is great
Well,
content. Clubhouse. Okay, I'm going to
Clubhouse,
check into
check it
this.
out. I mean, the challenge is like when we talk to matchmakers, Kara, all the time, our matchmakers will say, "Well, I don't know how I'm going to do this full time," and I
Right.
simply say, "Are you willing to try?" Because if you were to try and you treat your matchmaking practice like an 8-hour a day job, I can promise you, you will make $100,000 next year. Commit, do it. You'll make it, no problem. And arguably, you can make a whole lot more. And then
I
you start
agree.
hiring a staff, and then you start bringing in a team, and now you are building your own business, and you are running it the way you want to, all based on the effort you're putting in, and it can all be done from your phone. Not a single thing I discussed today has any dollar value.
Exactly.
It's all free, and it's all
Right.
done from your phone, including
Right.
Cupid.
It's just about being creative with your resources and the tools that we have out there. But you can't be
Right.
shy about it. It goes back to what you were saying, I think, last week, which was kind of building your brand. And are you comfortable with sharing who you are and what you do with other people?
Precisely. And even if you're not comfortable, see, that's what's so funny. When we first started interviewing some matchmakers, we had a lot of introverts. And like, Kara, you and I
Yeah.
are clearly extroverts, right? And so you'd think, first thought, you're like, well, introverts will be less successful. I totally disagree. I
Yeah.
think there
No.
are huge introvert communities, people who love a certain author. I mean, listen, like if I get tingles just thinking about it, but if you start bringing up my favorite authors on a date, I'm like, whoa, like that's like the sixth love language is like, not like content, I guess, is a really interesting thing. Like, do you love Game of Thrones is one level, but do you love the same authors I do? That just tells you so much about their brain.
You are onto something because I had two clients that they both put in their bios that they liked a certain author. And so when I was sharing some of the details about the match, I said, hey, her favorite book and author is, and he's like, get out of here. I'm reading that book now. And I love it. So he was excited just thinking that, oh my gosh, they like the same type of book, same type of author. And that was a selling point. I didn't need to say anything else about her. He was just like, oh, that's amazing. I need to
You know
meet
what
her.
that tells me, Kara? That makes me feel like Cupid needs to figure out how to solve that communication because there are ways in which we could pull in free databases of like books that you like. And so complaints that I've always had about dating, we'll get to Twitter in 1 second, but I always hated dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge because they never tried. Like those companies started and they stopped immediately. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Tinder from 10 years ago to now, the functionality has not changed. Nothing has changed. And so how like that's something if you guys think about things like this, and for those of you that are watching live, I can see we have a number of people right now. Listen, guys, like when you have ideas like Kara and I just realized, which is like if Cupid could help figure out who their top 5 favorite authors or favorite books are, and then we could make that another search filter, that's a special way to connect that no other dating or matchmaking experience probably has. We can do that for you. Just tell us you need it. Tell us you need it. We can put a team on it. We can figure it out. Because Kara, I like that. I mean, I would be very attracted to someone who read the same books as me.
Exactly. Because I think, that says to me, oh, he kind of has the same mindset as I do. And he likes the same things that I like. Even though it's just that one book,
Right.
that puts me on the path of thinking, hey, I think maybe we will sync in other areas if he,
Right.
appreciates this book.
It's special. It's special.
It
Right.
is. It is.
All right. I'll think about that one, Kara. This is good. We're always getting nuggets.
No, I like that because I also
too.
think it gives people a talking point, an icebreaker.
A place they can totally connect on. They're both really knowledgeable because that's the scary thing about when you go on dates and someone sits across the table from you and they're like, "What do you know about car dealerships?" You're like, "Nothing." What? Stop. I don't. This is not a conversation I want to have.
I know how to choose a car, but that's about it. Yeah.
Right. I've never even bought a car. I'm 32 and I've always had like a family junker or some like, it's a whole other story. Let's stay on topic, Kara. Twitter. Kara, who bought Twitter this past month?
Twitter, you said, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Who bought Twitter this month?
Ooh, Elon Musk.
There you go, Kara, look at you.
And he's lost a lot of weight, by the way.
He also had a lot of plastic surgery. He used to be bald too. You go, Queen. Go, Elon. All done up. Elon's California money now.
If I had that money, I would probably not even look like Elon Musk. I'd be looking like somebody completely different. But anyway, Twitter.
Yeah, he made an interesting choice. Twitter. So Twitter is a very interesting space, known for a lot of extreme views, but it's also known for being real time. People love its real time aspect. There are Twitter Spaces, which is like communities. I will admit I'm not a Twitter user. On a common experience. Oh, we have someone from Facebook telling us he is revamping Twitter. This could be a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see what that looks like. If I was a matchmaker on Twitter, here's how I would use it. My favorite thing is live tweeting. It's a very common practice. Take a hashtag and post your thoughts on this hashtag, right? Very common and very successful way to garner a whole bunch of attention because for example, a great example, Bella Claire loves The Bachelor, right? My best friend loves The Bachelor. Get out of her way if The Bachelor comes on. Do they know it's toxic and terrible and fake? Yes. They care? Not at all. They love The Bachelor. We love these dating shows. A great way for a matchmaker to capitalize on that quantity of attention, because who loves The Bachelor more than single women, Kara? Or married women, or anyone who just seeks romance, right? They all love the glossy vision. They love the roses.
Yes.
It's just a live soap opera. That's all it is.
To that scenario. Yeah.
Bachelor or bachelorette. So, just one of the creative ways that I would leverage Twitter is live tweeting. And I would actually just create commentary. What the thing about social media is always like being seen is half the value. Because if you're on your Twitter profile, you have that you're a matchmaker, you have your link, someone can sign up. If someone likes what you're saying or they find what you're saying novel or interesting, inherently you're going to get attention. And it's going to come back to you. You don't have to be like a link slut and like post your link every time you go anywhere. It's not necessary. People are going to go to you if you post comments, you post things that add value or are thought-provoking or are emotional. That's inherently going to drive people back to, who is this person? Oh, it's Kara. Oh my gosh, a matchmaker. How interesting. Or you don't even have to post it. Hi, I'm a matchmaker. You say, hi there, I have a client who's this age. If you're interested in going on a date, please DM me. Easy,
Yeah.
So I don't have amazing ideas for Twitter, but that's just one of the ideas that I have.
Okay.
Kara, what do you know about Pinterest?
Pinterest, I know that I see people post like a lot of ideas, recipes.
Yep.
Visuals.
DIY. Yeah.
Do it yourself. So share with me how, like as a matchmaker, I could utilize Pinterest to my advantage.
Kara, who do you think is Pinterest's biggest market?
I think it would be women.
You got it. That's your answer.
Women. So women?
Women.
Okay.
25 to 35-year-old women. They have almost 70% of that market. So men don't use Pinterest very much. It's extremely female focused.
All right.
And this is valuable in two aspects. Number one, you want referrals for singles, right? So you might find a Pinterest person, lots of love, lots of affirmations, lots of, ways to be, or relationship coaching you can comment on, you can communicate with. You can, of course, post on all of these. Never forget, you can drive your own content, but there's also different ways to connect with other people in the comments. You'd be amazed how many, when a post happens. So to give you a great example, Kara, I'm sure you've seen this before. You follow someone who's really knowledgeable about Pinterest or whatever, about dating, right? They post something. You make a comment and you respond to what they're saying. So the post is literally about love languages, and you respond and say, oh, I was just on this live show for doing this, da-da-da. I'm a matchmaker Kupid, da-da-da. Well, if you are one of the first 5 or 10 comments, the likelihood that thousands of people will see that is super high. And that was a single comment. That's because as that post gets more popular, gets more comments, gets more attention, your comment is top.
Wow.
Because it came first. Interesting, right, Kara?
That's another platform I'd like to kind of get my wherewithal about. I think all of these platforms, I need to dig in a little deeper and do my research and be a little more present on all of them as well.
And that's what I want to caution you for, Kara, is when you work in a marketing-based world, you'll talk about feeding the social media monster. Don't let this monster overtake you. You choose which spaces you like, which give you value, and which ones provide you value. By the way, I see
like
we have a bunch of people just joined us in the live video. If you guys have any questions or any comments on like different social media like platforms you use as a matchmaker already, or ones that you want to use, I'd love to hear about it. I know I didn't include Quora here. That's a really interesting one. Let me go on to the next one. So, Kara, what do you know about WhatsApp?
I use WhatsApp a lot when I travel internationally.
Right. Bingo.
I like it more so for my video conferences over like a Facebook Messenger. You could also put people in groups in WhatsApp as well. I know that you can send voice messages.
Yeah. You got it. You did pretty good. So the thing that I wanted to focus on is international / non-English specific. So WhatsApp dominated the world in communication outside of the West, outside of the United States and Canada. And so Facebook bought it a few years ago. So it's also part of Facebook. That's why they're such a behemoth, right? The difference here is you have large groups. If you have a client, now, Kara, I don't know if you speak any other languages. I think you do, right? Kara, you speak other languages. What languages do you speak?
Un poquito Espanol, but I don't think Jamaican Patois really counts as a language per se.
But it might. But it might.
I speak
Patois.
Yeah.
And I don't even, is that a language? Is it a dialect? What is it?
It is broken English. So like, I know you've heard of Wagwan because you dated. Okay, so Wagwan is what's going on.
Yeah.
Wagwan.
Yeah. I actually went to Hawaii once and they have Pidgin English, which is very similar. Like it was the native people acquiring English in their own way. And then it became popular in Hawaii. It was just the way that everyone communicated. So, yes. But I would actually be very impressed to see the population of Jamaican people who are on WhatsApp, specifically in WhatsApp groups. There's lots of WhatsApp groups now. Every social media platform wants to have a search function and wants to have you like join their community, right? Once you like find community in their community.
Right.
So if I had a client who was native in Spanish and really wanted to speak with other Spanish speakers or whatnot, the chances that I'm going to find someone in a Spanish-speaking community, now obviously I'd have to speak Spanish, it's going to be on WhatsApp. WhatsApp dominates South America, and that obviously translates into the US. I'm not saying you have to go find someone who lives in Colombia. I'm saying that the chances that your Spanish-speaking clients already have WhatsApp on their phone and they're in these groups, very high. Chances that they can also meet other people through these groups, very high. So, you know, Kara, let's remind you of like what could happen, right? You post in a group with 7,000 people, right? As you're a matchmaker, you have this young man who's charming and interesting. You don't post his photo. You would never be so inappropriate. Right. You just explain, his interest in his hobbies.
Right.
Someone else takes that, Kara, and posts it on 3 other groups or shares it with 5 of their friends. And now you go semi-viral and you get 2,000 people who join, through your link. And now you are covered in opportunities. What a dream, right? Totally possible. You just have to put in the effort.
That is absolutely right. I think I think the gist of it is that social media, you can leverage yourself to let social media do the work for you. You're going to have to put in that initial work, right?
Yep.
But let people find your client for you. Just put the word out there and be consistent about it. And you would be surprised at how many people are going to either want to hire you as a matchmaker or join the database or may know somebody that is perfect for the client that you're searching for at the time.
This is really what the difference between Cupid and every other dating experience is. Being human to human. Mm-hmm. Dating apps right now are completely based on algorithms. They're based on math and they're based on how pretty is your picture. Ugh. And we get it. We understand. Like we tried that. We've done it for a decade and people are done. They're leaving Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, all of these things in droves. It is your job as a matchmaker to get creative, learn love languages, understand how to prepare your client. You could find an amazing match. You could use everything you learned today on social. Like you learn all these things, you get all these matches. Now you've lined it up with like 3 great dates. But if you've not done the work with your client to prep them and help them understand their own love languages and understand the love languages of the other person, you're not stacking the deck. You're not helping your client. You're just a little like a connector. You need to add on extra layers of services and like what they're really getting more benefit from this.
Exactly. So, set them up for success.
Yeah. Right. That's a great way to say it.
And set yourself up for success, right?
Right. Right. Because what is the best possible thing? You want someone to fire you and get married and have an amazing life because they are your best referral source for the next 50 years.
How many? I was gonna say, how many referrals would you think you would get from somebody that got married?
From their wedding alone, probably 50 or 100.
Oh, golden!
And then
make sure you attend the wedding.
Right. Oh, 100%. You better get a wedding invite.
You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go.
That's a privilege, though. You should absolutely go. And you should tell us. Yeah. You tell Kupid when you have a wedding, so we can send them a gift.
We would love it. Yeah. Maybe even get a little testimonial would be great.
Yes, absolutely. But Kara, I actually have a meeting with a matchmaker directly after this. Right. So I've got to go. Thank you guys so much. Make sure if you're not already part of the community on Discord, take a scan of this and join it real quick, or follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.